that was necessary for shoplifting?
I know, right? Hey, get that. Look. That's your goddamn job.
Dying. Someone call 911. Why did you throw him down so hard? Yeah. All he did was shoplifting and you threw him down like that?
He didn't even shoplift. He just put it under his chest so he could get out.
That's
Fucking
Take the handcuffs off, man. Hey, let them do their job, man. Let them do their job. All he was doing was shoplifting, and you did that to him?
There had been clashes between the police and what they say were radicals during the day of strike that paralyzed Portugal. What happened after made the headlines the entire weekend. A group of policemen dressed as civilians was not expected to be recorded while beating up an unarmed young man. Eyewitnesses say some of them used sticks, which is illegal. The video shows a group of officers from Urban Police PSP aggressively punching their victim, who fell on the floor defenseless while people begged them to stop. Press TV contacted PSP police to know their position, but we never received a reply. The footage quickly made its way to mainstream websites and TV channels, sparking controversy. Some opposition members and social platforms are demanding an investigation, like October 15 platform. But João Camargo, a member of October 15, thinks there will be no credible investigation because the police is involved.
We can't rely too much on the investigation of these scenarios because it's going to be investigated by the police themselves. So, unfortunately, we don't have that much confidence on the outcome of that investigation. We know, and it's public now, that the police are lying and are using illegal tactics to try and criminalize the strike, to try and criminalize unions, to try and criminalize the social movements, because unfortunately we're gaining power because they're pushing measures that are destroying the country, and the people are getting together. And the country is already in social tension, but the origin of violence isn't the people or the streets. Unfortunately, the violence is ruled by the state. All the measures that are being applied, all the cuts, they're going to kill people. They're not going to just making their lives harder. They're going to kill people objectively. So I can't imagine anything more violent than that.
Welcome. This is James Corbett of the Corbett Report with your Eyeopener report for BoilingFrogsPost.com. When the Shanghai Five held its first presidential summit in China in 1996, this innocuous group hardly registered as a blip on the geopolitical radar. Within just 5 years, however, the loose-knit cooperative organization of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Tajikistan was already attracting the attention of some of the premier globalist institutions as a potential opponent to Western imperial hegemony. In May of 2001, then Brookings Institute Director Bates Gill wrote an op-ed entitled Shanghai Five, an attempt to counter U.S. influence in Asia, which openly frets about the group's growing clout. In one particularly prescient passage for our post-Libyan era, Gill highlights a statement from the group's 2000 summit declaration proclaiming that the five partners will oppose intervention in other countries' internal affairs on the pretexts of humanitarianism and protecting human rights, and support the efforts of one another in safeguarding the five countries' national independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity, and social stability. Gil finishes his op-ed by noting that efforts to establish security-related mechanisms without the participation of the United States is a trend worth watching. Gil's concerns for the future of a NATO-led monopolar world proved well-founded. Within 1 month of penning his article, the 5 countries convened their annual summit in Shanghai, where they admitted the body's 6th member, Uzbekistan, and signed the Declaration of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In June of 2002, just 8 months after NATO began its invasion and occupation of Afghanistan, an occupation that continues to the present day, the leaders met in St. Petersburg to sign the S.C.O. Charter. Although not many of Gil's peers were likely to have seen the importance of this event with the clarity that Gil himself did, from these inauspicious beginnings emerged an economic, cultural, and military alliance, which is now threatening to become a serious contender for control over one of the most geostrategically important areas of the globe. This region, which arch-globalist Zbigniew Brzezinski referred to as the Eurasian Balkans in his infamous 1997 opus, The Grand Chessboard, encompasses portions of southeastern Europe, Central Asia, South Asia, the Persian Gulf, and the Middle East. In his book, Brzezinski wrote that the region is of importance from the standpoint of security and historical ambitions to at least 3 of their most immediate and more powerful neighbors, namely Russia, Turkey, and Iran, with China also signaling an increasing political interest in the region. But, he continued, the Eurasian Balkans are infinitely more important as a potential economic prize. An enormous concentration of natural gas and oil reserves is located in the region, in addition to important minerals, including gold.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, November 28th, 2011, and I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com, that's ggnonline.com. Also on YouTube, you can check out my channel, it's ddarko2012, that's ddarko2012. You can find all the headlines and links that I cover in these videos, along with the Global Government News Facebook group. And all those links will be in YouTube's video description, so please go check those out. I just placed a new poll, or posted a new poll. How would you react to an attack invasion, or attack/invasion, by a foreign nation in quotation marks? I always put quotation marks because life tends to be gray a lot of times. It's not usually black and white, us and them, right and wrong. And a lot of times, the foreign nation or foreign attackers are actually your own people, your own leadership, your own governments attacking yourselves. So I put that in quotation marks, just like quotation marks in the last poll about the first alien president, because some people think that we've already had an alien president. I'm sorry I have to go through this, but I just want to make sure I explain this poll. Either way, some of the options are you can join the military to fight the attacker. So far, nobody's saying that. Join a non-governmental militia to fight the attacker. And that could be a situation where if you're living in the United States and you join a patriot group or militia to fight the government after it basically doesn't hear your grievances and you want to secede from the Union, would you join a militia? So it's encompassing a lot here. You can refuse to join and fight on religious, philosophical grounds. That's what I voted for. And join the attackers or the invaders. Or lastly, not sure. So far, 66% 2 voters say they're going to refuse to join and fight. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving here. Got a lot to get to. We have S1867, a Hunting of America expands. It goes on here, it says S1867, a National Defense Authorization Act bill. Senator Carl Levin, and John McCain of Arizona are bringing to this bill to the Senate floor on Monday after having held secret committee meetings while never holding even one hearing on this bill, which authorizes military action against U.S. citizens right here in the United States. I covered this on Friday. Senators demand the military lockup of American citizens in a battlefield they define as being right outside your window. This is going to lead to what, guys? Possibly the FEMA camps. That's what the national martial law and FEMA camps. When I first got into this whole, quote, truth movement, as I call it, I don't even like to be called a conspiracy theorist or a truther or anything like that. But, you know, the first time I got into it, it was all about martial law and FEMA camps, and it was based off the National Defense Authorization Act. So like I said in the first video, most of these groups, ACLU, they're all co-opted by the establishment. So you can go in there and fill this out. I filled it out, but basically it tells the Senate no, as if the Senate represents you, no to indefinite military detention. So it goes in there and changing laws to imprison people, including Americans living in the United States itself, indefinitely without charge. They've kind of already been doing that to some extent, turning patrolmen into soldiers. How do we let this happen? Well, the war on drugs and the war on terror. That's how it happened. And get federal funds to militarize your local police. I covered that last week too. Troops to man airports during general strike in the UK, to use troops at border controls when public sector workers stage a massive strike this week, which will also hit working parents hard. Next up, military bosses plan for dirty bomb attacks during the 2012 Olympics. I think that it's a good possibility that we may see the stage alien invasion next year at this Olympics here. And so don't worry though, SAS squads are going to be based in riverside bunkers for the London Olympics to deal with these dirty bombs. They also are going to have, they're pondering a U.S. missile defense surface-to-air missiles for the London Olympics. I'm telling you, they're getting ready for something big. So get ready for the big show. 100,000 more jobs go in public sector in the UK, and 100,000 Britons cannot afford to eat, dependent on handouts. So they're going to do all that, yet their people are starving at home. Sounds similar, doesn't it? Like Kenya and Somalia. Says here, SWAT teams shooting of a Marine causes outrage. That's right. I covered this. This was a while back. Mr. Ortiz was sleeping after an exhausted 12-hour night shift at a copper mine, and basically, the SWAT team had to come to execute a search warrant. They said, I believe it was a drug thing, and they got the wrong house. And it said here, they heard a boom, saw a dark-suited man pass into the house, said U.S. Marine, Iraq war veteran. Sorry, he was only trying to defend his family, and he grabbed his gun, AR-15 assault rifle. He did not fire on him. I know he did that. I'm just going to say that because I want to keep moving on here. And they shot him. I think they shot him 40, 50 times. A Marine vet. It says here, Lieberman wants Google to let users flag terrorist content on blogging platforms. This is also kind of old, but it's coming back, and it says here that Google to implement a policy explicitly banning terrorist material on their blogger servers and set up a YouTube-style flag system to bring such material to Google's attention, i.e. what I'm talking about. RFK assassination, Sirhan Sirhan alleges conspiracy theory, seeks release from prison. So, yeah, he says that he was a victim of mind control and never actually shot Kennedy, and he wants to be let loose. Well, he's probably right, but will we ever know? I don't know. Bail denied for a man accused of plotting attack on the Pentagon. So, Massachusetts man using a model aircraft. Remember, that was another thing to crack down on U.S. citizens, calling them terrorists. Also, remember the Pentagon shooter who drove all the way across the country, and actually the gun ended up tracing back to a police department, I believe, in Kentucky. So again, these are patsies, right? And they don't want these guys to get out and start talking like Al-Saf Gaddafi. The FBI told us to do it. 7 robbers go on trial accused of $20 million art heist. That's right. They were tricked into doing it. And the only reason they did it, a 55-year-old FBI special agent from Miami working undercover as a corrupt art dealer called Bob Clay effectively ordered the heist because he wanted to infiltrate art crime gangs working across France. Speaking of Fed raids, Massachusetts fishermen snare 800-pound tuna, and then feds take it. And it's crazy because they said that because he didn't use a net, right? Like, they don't go after these guys, these poachers that take out all this fish like they were in Libya, where they were bombing them. They actually went in, allowed boats to go in there and start overfishing. Fed sees 130 domain names in mass crackdown for Christmas. Connect for Windows to offer a Minority Report computer that is controlled by gestures is on its way. And a new TV that can hear your shouts and see your gestures, but can understand them too. Again, already happening. Cameras and microphones have been reported in video equipment, audio. Facebook is taking over, Australian teenagers, psychologists say. Then fake forum comments are eroding trust in the web. Talking about what? People that aren't actually real, like kind of like these computer trolls that go around. But maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the psyop, so that people won't trust each other, right? High school student reprimanded by principal for tweeting criticizing Kansas governor. I can't believe that. Then after a collision with Jason Witten, did Cowboys pull cheerleader's Twitter account to silence her? Again, this already exists. Efforts to create an army of cyborg insects are being pursued by a team of U.S.-based engineers, which will, of course, feed on human flesh. Robo-Snake, the bendable robot arm that could save human lives, looks like the Matrix. Sentinels, starfish-inspired soft robot squeezes under obstacles. And robots with movements 10 times steadier than human hand, because they're superior to us, are going to do brain surgery now. Robot legs help with stroke survivors to walk. And then toilet games to keep the slaves occupied. Then look at this. Launches a world's first toilet academy, but 2.6 billion are still without toilets. This is GGN. Thank you.